Hello my lovelies, today I wanted to bring you a thrift haul of decks. Now I don't know about you, but I very rarely find decks in charity shops. I go quite a bit because I thrift for the house, I thrift for dolls, and I always dream about finding decks there, and I never do until recently. And I wanted to share with you some decks that I found in a charity shop. I think you may have seen two of these already, but I'm just going to share the whole lot. So today it's a deck thrift haul. Now the first deck I want to share is this one. This is the Hip Witch Tarot. This is one I have actually shown before. It's a low scarabeo deck. It's a deck by Barbara Moore. The box opens up like this, so it's very different for a low scarabeo deck to come in one of these huge big boxes. Now the last time I showed this on my channel, somebody said go and check out the price of it because it's out of print, and I couldn't believe it. This deck goes for quite a bit of money now. What did I pay for it? I paid £4 for it. These first four decks I'm going to share were all £4 each. They did have one in a glass cabinet that they'd got like £30 on, which I think they realised was worth some money. However, it was like very pippish and it just didn't appeal at all, so I left that one. But these were just out on the shelf with £4 each on them, and I just thought, it's Barbara Moore, let's have a look. I've never seen it before, had no idea about it, had no idea that it was an out of print deck. I was just really interested. So the box comes with a Celtic cross in there. It also comes with a slightly bigger book and also a little white book, and the cards are in here. So they're the old-fashioned low scarabeo cards with the different languages round. It's got just a brilliant deep purple pentacle back to it, and I just think that it is just a really interesting deck. It makes me laugh. I've shared this before on my decks that make me giggle. This card in particular is just so funny. So this is the Ace of Cups, and there she is kissing a frog, waiting for it to turn into a prince. But while she's waiting, look, she's got a cauldron cooking spaghetti, giving up on love and turning to carbs. Kind of know that feeling. So these cards on top are some of the cards that I shared in that video, but I think the whole deck as a whole has got just a really interesting feel to it. I love this card. I think that one's fantastic. You know, you've got different ages in there. It's just like really what it says. It's a hip witch. It's fantastic. Crows on the Emperor. The Hierophant sitting under a tree. Pretty sexy lovers card with a bit of suspender action going on. And the Chariot card. I mean, who doesn't love a broomstick Chariot card being pulled by crows? Just wonderful. Justice with the wisdom of the owl. I love this Hermit card. Look at that. And the Hanged one. Yeah, so I just think that this is a fab little deck. I haven't worked with it yet. I have got so many decks waiting for me to get to them, which is not a problem for me. I am aware that I've got a lot of decks I haven't used yet, but it's because when I start working with a deck, it tends to stay out for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So you only need one charity shop haul and you're suddenly like, you've got months worth of decks waiting for you when that is the case. But what do you think of this, guys? Is it something that appeals? I just think it's really quirky. Once I've worked with it, I will come back and give feedback on it. It's going to be one of those decks, isn't it, that it's either absolutely fantastic messages to work with or the book kills it stone dead. So I don't know yet, but I do love the artwork. I do love it. I mean, look at this. Oh, I love that image. I love it. So that's the Hit Witch, guys. Just fascinating deck. The next deck is one that I was super excited to find. This is another one of the £4 decks. This is the Grunge Tarot. Now, I've just seen Dawn Michelle put a video up about the Grunge Tarot, which I haven't watched yet. I'm going to wait till after I've worked with it, because I don't want my opinions being shifted at all. So it's about rock music, grunge music. It says it means dirty or scruffy, but it's really a music scene deck. So it comes in a slide out drawer. It's got quite a chunky book with like colour images. And I was excited about this deck for a number of reasons, because I'd wanted it for a while. But I really like the colour scheme. These are the backs. It's really in your face. You've got the 4 speakers and an eye on the back of the cards. And I just think it's a really unusual colour scheme. This kind of sickly lime green and the turquoise and this sort of skin coloured beige. You've got this sort of deep maroon, red, oranges. It's a colour scheme that goes throughout the deck, which is really unusual. And look, this crystal kind of goes with it. This crystal I've just received off Gigi, and Gigi, I just love it. And this one here. You've inadvertently sent me crystals that match the colour scheme of the Grunge Tarot, which I love. So that was off Gigi, so thank you so much. But yeah, it's a colour scheme, what was I saying, that kind of can make you go, ugh, but at the same time make you go, oh, well, it does me anyway. Like these peaches and yellows and lime greens, these are colours that really shouldn't go together, but I think they do. And some of these cards make me smile. Well, a lot of the cards make me smile. And I just think it's a really interesting depiction. This 9 of Wands, I absolutely love this 9 of Wands, with the guitarist playing to a crowd of melting candles. And look, the King of Wands flying through the cosmos. So you've got all of these brilliantly crazy characters. This Queen of Wands is absolutely bizarre. Look, the reflection is different. So, yeah. But it is just really interesting, these depictions. So it's another deck that is just really, really exciting to find, especially for £4. Goodness me, look at this depiction of the Wheel of Fortune. I love that. One of those old-fashioned roundabouts that we used to play in as kids. When I was a kid, they were like death traps, really. Really interesting Hanged Man. Really sad modern day depiction of death. Temperance is fantastic with a Leonard Cohen poster behind. The Devil, look at this with burning tyres. So just fantastic. I mean, I love the Star card. Look at that. On the Moon. Let's get to some minors. So look, we've got the 2 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, which is Tilly's card. So we've got Cups, we've got Swords. The 3 of Swords is quite traditional looking. Look at this, it's fantastic. And then we have Pentacles. So it's fully illustrated all the way throughout, which I think is fantastic. And then Wands. But you can see what I mean about the colour scheme. Lime green, oranges and pinks. It reminds me a little bit of the colour scheme in the, oh gosh, what is it? Oh my gosh, the Moon Star Tarot? No, that's not right. I'll put it on the screen here. But this, another £4 deck, guys, from the same charity shop that all of these were from the same haul. I walked in, they were all just there. So I went from never ever having found a deck in a charity shop to all of these. if you are interested in this deck, I will link Dawn Michelle's video down below. Although I haven't watched it, of course it's going to be top quality from Dawn Michelle. So I'll link that down below. I'll also link Gigi's channel, who sent me these gorgeous crystals this week. I had the most gorgeous happy mail come from Gigi, which I will have to share in another video. Right, the third of these £4 decks was one, oh my gosh, I was so excited about this one as well. I found the New Century Tarot, which is a US games deck. It's another one where the colour palette is what drew me to it. Also, I've seen Renee over at Meadowlark Mystic use this deck, and I've spoken to her about it. Yeah, it's one that I've wanted. Oh my gosh, it's one I've nearly pulled the trigger on so many times on eBay, and always like not pulled the trigger because I thought, no, look, you've got enough decks that you haven't got to. But then to find it for £4 in a charity shop, amazing. So it's got these sort of deep purple borders. Your colour scheme is again kind of this lime greeny yellow, muted reds with purple. So it's again got another really unusual colour scheme. And it's got this pippish feel to the miners, but they all have this scene built within this pippish style card. And I think the scenes, when you look at them, are really, really interesting. So you've got Pentacles. And then you've got Wands. Look at that Queen of Wands, isn't she lovely? So you've got Queens, Knights, Pages. Is there a King there? So I'm now in a panic looking for the King. I had checked these to check they were all here, so I'm sure it's here somewhere. The Three of Wands, the Four. You can see that it sticks to its own colour palette. Now I've been looking for a deck to work with dragon energy because of some things that have been happening at the altar, and looking through this, I think that this might be the deck that I need for that. So let me show you some of the majors. Look, aren't the majors absolutely gorgeous? Just really lovely depictions. And look at this Lovers card. How amazing is that? And the Chariot, it's so beautiful. And the Strength card, I think, is probably one of my favourite Strength cards ever. They really do look like mini works of art. They really do. I will check and put on the screen whether these are out of print or not. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure that this is out of print. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to check. If they are out of print, then I'm really sorry if you're cross about me showing them. I actually love seeing people's out of print decks because it lets me know then whether when I find one, like say in a charity shop or coming up on eBay, whether I want it or not. Otherwise, I'd never know. Okay, look, there's the Four. There's the King of Swords. No, it was the King of Wands we wanted, wasn't it? All the sword cards. Look at that Four of Swords. Isn't that incredible, the way that's done? And the Five of Swords, look. Love this Six of Swords card. I love that. And the Seven of Swords is just so beautifully done, this artwork. We've got the Cups. There he is. I'd shown it at the start. Wow, I was in a panic then that it was £4 because it was missing a card, but there he is. So that is the New Century Tarot. What a absolute find that was, and what a work of art it is. It's just incredible. So like I say, that I've been having some moments with dragon and fire energy and magical, magic done with the fire element, shall I say, and a call to dragons. It's linked to the ancestor work that I'm doing, and revelations at the altar. I am not a fire element girl, but that's part of the story. And I was thinking about looking for a deck that felt like dragon energy or fire energy to me. I think I've just found it on my own shelf whilst flicking through this, so that is an absolute find. Tuck Box Rage. Right, the last of the tarot decks is this one. I've still got my £4 price ticket on. Oh, the satisfaction of it coming off in one foul swoop. So this just says tarot, delve into the world of tarot reading. It's by Top That. So obviously some sort of kind of generic, this is a tarot deck kind of thing. It says, ever wondered what your future will bring? It looks like more of kind of like a sort of games type of sale of a tarot deck. Cards are absolutely massive. I have shared this before on the decks that make me giggle, just because the artwork, some of the perspective of the artwork is funny. Let me show you how big these are. I've got a typical tarot card there. Look, they're massive. But interesting nevertheless. It might be nice, I thought, to have a deck this sort of size, just to pull a big card. I mean, look, you can see the art style is a bit off sometimes. Just to kind of pull a big card for, and then to place the rest of the tarot reading with a smaller deck around it. I sometimes like to do that. But for £4, it was just interesting. The scale and the size of the deck I thought was interesting. Also, pip decks have been calling to me more this year. I've really enjoyed working with the pip decks I've worked with, and you can see that this is very much a pip deck. So all the minors are done like this, from the ace through to 10. Love that Knight of Pentacles. Oh, there's our Fool. So really kind of an in-your-face kind of deck. Lots of Egyptian overtones. Look at this. So yeah, really interesting. The swords kind of have a Celtic feel to them, don't they? The Knight of Swords is powerful. So one that I just couldn't leave, I just thought it was really fascinating. So that is just tarot. That's what it's called. So that's the last of the £4 decks. Now I've got a few more decks to share. They're all playing card decks. A charity shop where I found 2 Novi Star dolls in a £15 bag. Now these go anywhere up to £200 a doll, and I found these 2 in a bag full of dolls. I've actually just put the doll charity shop haul up on my other channel, my doll channel, which I'll link below. I scored a £15 box and bag of dolls. These 2 were at the bottom of the bag. So I was obviously, the thrifting gods were with me that day. But on the same day, in the toy section, there was also a basket full of playing card decks for 10p each. So things like this. Now this deck, I mean, you can see how old it is, and I just the feel of the cards being this old, I think, oh, it's just got such a nice feel to it. So the backs are all the same on this. So that was 10p, so I just grabbed that for plain deck. There's a plastic coated souvenir playing cards. Again, just ordinary cards when you open them up. Again, they've got that beautiful old vintage feel to them. It says the Isle of Man Railways, and you can see how old the deck is from the pictures on there. So that was 10p. I've got a couple of more traditional but vintage playing card decks, and in this one, look at the Joker in that. Isn't that amazing? There's a black and white Joker, and you've got the Jacks and the Kings. And the Queens. So yeah, just a fabulous little find there. Let's have a look and see what the courts are like in here. So you've got the Jacks and the Queens, the Kings, so slightly more detailed court cards. A slightly more traditional Joker though. So all of these were 10p each. We start to get to slightly more different playing card decks that were there as well. So this is a 54 colour picture playing cards, the World of Famous Wild Animals, and you can see, like, just by the box itself, just how old these decks are. So these are the backs on here. You can see all of the animals depicted. So you've got like elephants and panda bears and foxes, all sorts of things on there. You've just got different animals depicted on them all. Isn't that amazing? I mean, if you're working not only with the cartomancy meaning of the cards, but also with animal energy. Some are horizontal, look. You know, when I see a tree frog, which is the Joker, tree frogs look so cute and little and colourful. They look like little sweeties on a tree, but they're the most poisonous animals in the world, tree frogs. So it's brilliant depiction for the Joker. I love the fact that the Ten of Hearts is a skunk. That's just cracks me up. You know, like you've got zebras, a sloth, a hippo. Are these all completely different animals all the way through? I mean, what I'm tempted to do with this deck is to put keywords from what I think about, like any intuitive hits I'm getting, or also any like real life correspondences that have developed in my own life, keywords for that, or any sort of spirit animal keywords. Yeah, these are all different, aren't they? There's no repeating cards in here at all, which is just amazing. I love that that Fox Joker card. I love that. So this was an absolute score game. This was 10p. Again, all of these vintage playing card decks were 10p each. So I literally went from 0 playing card decks to all of these. I've still got some more to show you. Let me just double check that these are indeed all different. They are all different. That's amazing. I was expecting repeating cards. Wow. That's the card that's on the box. So what do you think of that one? I think that's just such a fantastic find for 10p. Isn't that Highland Cattle one just gorgeous? So that is the World of Famous Wild Animals playing card deck. And of course, the feel of this old card stock, I don't know whether it's the memories held within it and the amount of times it's been shuffled. I don't know whether it's just a completely different card stock. I don't know whether it's the wear and tear that makes it feel this way, but it just has the most magical, wondrous feel to it. So let me know if you use playing cards, or if you have a collection of playing cards. If you do have a collection of playing cards and you have got a channel, oh my gosh, I'd love to see them. So I'm putting a plea out for my nosy soul. Please show me your playing card decks. I'd just love to see them. Or leave me a comment if you don't have a channel. Do you have playing card decks? Okay, hold on to your inner child for these next few playing card decks, because you are just going to squeal with delight, as I did. Now you can see how loved this is. This box is just completely engulfed in sellotape, holding it together. It's a Michael Stanfield deck. I have no idea if that means anything, having never bought decks like this before. It's a snap game, so there are obviously going to be repeating cards in here. But look, I mean, I love this wear and tear on the edge of the cards. I love it. So you've got the fat controller. So 4 cards. Have we got 4 cards of each, I wonder? You've got Edward and Gordon. Terence the Tractor. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of my dad. He had a Fergie tractor, a red one like this too. So that's going to be my dad's card, the Terence card. Edward. You've got Bertie the bus. And of course you've got Thomas. But isn't this art style just completely gorgeous? There's Clarabelle. There's Percy. Henry. I mean, he's going to be all about speed, isn't he? You've got Toby. There's James. So, a little snap playing card deck. Thomas the Tank Engine. Isn't that wonderful? But don't put your inner child away just yet, because there's more to come. There's more to come. That for 10 pence there was no way I was going to leave them behind. Look, we have a old-fashioned vintage version from Tower Press of the old Maid. Is this the original version? So it's, let's go into the bottom again. The cards are just so old, but this illustration, guys, on these cards, oh, it's just such a delight. Look, doorman, dormouse. Doesn't this take you back to being a little kid? I like nuts. I never thought I'd be saying that sentence on this channel. The penguin waiter with a little mouse in the background. Fun with Georgie Giraffe. Oh, it's just such divine imagery. Mr. Rhino's Hoopla. You've got Mrs. Fox Washes Up. The Deep Sea Diver. And again, this is one that I could put keywords on and use it for keywords. If you like this game, you must get Happy Families, Beat Your Neighbour and Snap Donkey. Funny you should say that, because we've got one of those coming up next. So we've got the Ice Cream Man, Harry Hare in a Hurry, Freddy Frog Hurdling, The Park Keeper, Peter Puss Goes Fishing. So it's just amazing, isn't it? Look at all of these. Did we see him? Tickets, please. The Zebra Crossing. I just love it. Look at the park keeper putting all the rubbish on his spikes. Isn't that wonderful? Jumbo the gardener. Sorry, my mistake. Sitting on a worm that the bird's got. Yeah, so that is Old Maid. Just a beautiful, beautiful find. So look, these are the backs. Look how old and vintage that looks. Isn't that amazing? So this title card in the box said, you must get happy families, beat your neighbour or snap donkey if you like this. And one of those was in the basket too for 10 pence. So which one was it? It was this one, Snap Donkey. Again, so old. Look, you can see how old the card stock is. And the box is all a bit battered. But how can you resist? Look at the backs. And again, oh my gosh, this illustration style is just so wonderful. I mean, these cards are so battered, but I love it for that. I absolutely love it. You've got Mickey the monkey, Leo the lion. It just is like a blast from the past. Larry the lamb. Who remembers Larry the lamb on children's TV? I do, and I know I'm showing my age saying that. Bertie the bull, Katie the cat, Nicky the bear. Oh, look at these. Dusty the dog. That reminds me of Moses, my wire-haired fox terrier, which I had to rehome because he just fought terribly with Maisie, my Irish terrier. I'm still in touch with the owners of him though, and he's had the most wonderful life up in Scotland. So you've got Billy the goat. You've got this old directions for playing the game. It's just wonderful, just wonderful. Gertie the goose, Bimbo the elephant, just lovely. Timothy the tiger, Curly the squirrel. Look at her, isn't she fab? So that is Donkey Snap. Again, 10 pence in the basket. Okay, the last two decks we're down to. So this is another one for our inner child to delight at. It is Winnie the Pooh, a Pepe's quality game. There's the backs, made in Great Britain. Pepe's quality game. Again, is absolutely battered to anything. The backs are an absolute delight. Look at that. Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin skipping along. And again, the illustration is this gorgeous Disney style illustration, which I think is just gorgeous. There are repeating cards in here though, so I mean it's what to do, whether I want to spoil this illustration with writing a keyword on there. I'm not sure. I mean, I suppose I could put the keyword on the back, but this really reminds me of being a kid and the giant, really colourful Disney posters that you could buy for your bedroom. And I can remember I had a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Disney poster on the wall as you opened the bedroom door when I would have been under 7 because it was in our old house before we moved. And I can remember the delight in my soul of opening the door into my bedroom every day and this poster greeting me. This deck also has memories of the kids watching Winnie the Pooh films when they were little. Yeah, it's got loads of memories tied up in these imageries. This imagery, like I say, there's a lot of repeating cards in there, so I think to make this a usable deck that had enough messages in there, it might need keywords, but I'm yet to think how to do it. I think I might end up putting keywords underneath here in white. Oh, I love it though. So that's Winnie the Pooh, a Pepe's game. Right, the very last deck that I've got to share from this amazing thrift haul is another 10p deck that was all together in this basket. Flower families. So this is a plant deck. This is an absolute score. Again, you can see by the state of the box that it is really, really old. It's got a slide out drawer being kept closed by this very ancient sellotape. So look, it's got a slide out drawer there like that. Isn't that cool? I love the backs on these cards. Look at those backs. Oh, I just think those are beautiful. Now this is really interesting. This is all different plants, and it tells you what type of plant it is, whether it's aquatic or whether it's from a bulb or whether it's a meadow flower. So you've got that at the top. You've got the different types of flower that comes in this family. And you've got it in different languages, so it gives you the name of the plant and an image. Is that French? Oh, I'm not sure. But for pulling a card where you're using flowers for divination, or even trying to find a flower to work with for the month, how lovely would this deck be? If you know your plant references and associations, again, you've got all of that in there. And if you don't know your plant associations, you could pull a card with a reading and then use this to research and to find how it links to the reading that you've done. I just love the illustration style. I really do. I just love it. Look at these roses, flowers of the wood. So you've got woodland flowers as well. And the foxglove, flowers of the meadow. So poppy. For the flowers of the meadow in this deck, there'll be a cornflower, a cowslip, a bluebell and a poppy. And the one that's highlighted in red is the one that it is. Oh my gosh, it only took me half a year to work that one out. So look, this is the cowslip. So cornflower, cowslip, bluebell and poppy. This is the cowslip one. So this is the white water lily. So there is a Sagittaria, a swamp lily and a yellow water lily as well. I mean, just the fact of whether you've got like wood or bulbous or garden flower or aquatic flower, even within that there's elemental messages that you can get. So these are hollyhocks. These are snapdragons. Oh, I get this now. Gentiana. Oh, we've got alpine flowers as well. How awesome is that? So tuberous plants. Oh, it's just really interesting the way it's done. Flowers of the marsh. Really brilliant for bringing in elemental messages as well. You've got bulbous plants. You've got climbers. So that, just the fact it's a climber gives you an immediate message, doesn't it? So this was an absolute score, I think. I've never seen this anywhere else. It's just completely up my street. And I love it. And the backs are just glorious. So that is Flower Families. Just a brilliant deck if you want to work with flowers in your magic practice, which of course I am doing more and more these days. So I love it. So that's it, guys. I mean, here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was 80 pence, all of those. It wasn't even a pound. All of those decks for 80 pence. I think that's what we can call a score. And then these tarot decks for £4 each. So what an absolute score that was. Let me know which one is your favourite. I'd love to know which one is your favourite. Which of those is the one that you would most like to walk into a charity shop and find? Let me know in the comments. And thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.